Hi everyone, this is Mariana, trainer and technical documentation developer at In-House Solutions. In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how to use different selection methods available in the Wireframe Mode Chaining dialog box. The Chaining dialog box is used to select chains of entities for generating surfaces, solids, or toolpaths, or to perform other commands from Analyze or Transform. To demonstrate the selection methods, I will use the contour toolpath. In MasterCam, the chain selection method is the default. You need to select the first entity of the chain close to the endpoint where you want to start the chaining. For some toolpaths, such as the contour toolpath, the direction of the chain is very important. You can also unselect the chain. If I select the first entity of the chain close to this endpoint, the direction of chaining will be counterclockwise. If I select the same entity close to this endpoint, the chaining direction is going to be clockwise. For partial chaining, make sure that you enable the partial button and select the first entity of the chain in the proper direction. Then select the last entity of the chain. You can also use the full chaining method. Select the first entity of the chain. Notice that the entire chaining is selected. And then select the last entity of the chain. To select multiple entities using window selection method, select Window button from the Wireframe Chaining dialog box, and then make a window around the geometry that you want to select. You need to sketch the approximate starting point. I'll pick this endpoint. The selection mode was automatically set to In. All the entities that are completely inside of the window were selected. You can also set the selection mode to outside of the window, inside and intersect the window, outside and intersect the window, or entities that just intersect the window. I'm going to leave it to In. Again, you can reverse the chaining if needed. You can also change the starting point by moving it forward, one entity at a time, or back. The window selection method is commonly used when selecting entities for engraving. Remember that you always need to provide the starting point when using a window selection in a toolpath. Using polygon selection, you can just draw lines around the geometry that you want to select. Double-click or press Enter when you are done, and again you will need to provide the starting location. You can use the Start and End buttons to move the starting position, as well as the reverse button to change the direction of chaining. To select multiple entities using area selection method, you have to select a point inside of the outermost chain and outside of the inner chain. That will ensure that all the entities inside of the area will be selected. If you just want to select one of these red chains, you click somewhere inside of it. Same options for start, end, and reverse chaining are available for the area chaining. Using a vector selection method, you have to create lines that are intersecting the chains that you want to be selected. And then double-click or press Enter when done. The single entity method allows you to select one entity at a time. As you can see right now, I'm selecting multiple chains. System waits for me to select chain number 4. A point selection allows you to select a point before you are chaining the geometry that will be used in a toolpath as an approach point or as the start point, depending on where you select the chain. In my case, it has been used as an approach point. The last button allows you to rechain the last chain that you selected. And chain similar allows you to select another chain that has similar features. When Mastercam encounters a branch point during chaining, it prompts you to choose the path that the chain has to follow. You can use one of the branches buttons, such as Next, which allows you to follow the red arrow, or you can adjust the arrows, and you can also go back one section if needed. In my case, I'm just going to select the arrow. Remember, you can use one of the buttons here, or you can go adjust the arrows and then again select the red color arrow to continue the chaining. If the entities that you want to chain are all tangent, you can hold down the Shift key and select the chain. And then you can guide, still holding the Shift key, the red arrow. And you got the entire chain selected like that. Another not as known option in the wireframe chaining, which is only available with the partial chaining, is the wait function. This allows you to select a chain in both directions. In my case, I'm just selecting the first and the last entity of the chain, and with the wait enabled, I'm allowed to reselect the same chain in the opposite direction. I need to end the chain and then OK. And you can see the result here. The tool will cut along the contour on the left side, and then it's going to cut the same contour on the right side. We only get one operation in this case and one chain. When you have to chain a 3D wireframe, like in this example, all the vertical lines along the 3D wireframe are branches. To guide the chain along the geometry that needs to be selected can be quite tedious. The 3D mode is the one that can see those vertical lines. If we switch to the C-plane mode, then Mastercam can only see entities that are parallel with the current construction plane, in my case the top plane, and which are the same Z depth with the entity that I'm selecting. The full chain at the top can be very quick selected like that. Same thing with the bottom chain. If you want to see the starting position for both chains, you can select this display all selection arrows. This concludes the video on wireframe chaining dialog box. The options will be covered in a separate video. Thank you for watching.